Hi guys, Home Office Minister Robert Jenrick couldn't even get his lies correct when he appeared on Sky News. So he was responding to comments made by the Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper about bringing down the asylum claims backlog. Jenrick said that it was naive to think that this would resolve the problem, and he claimed that when the Labour Party were last in power, their actions encouraged people to come to Britain. So he believes a deterrent is necessary, that being the baby Stockholm barge. But then he admitted that his government is adding resources to bring down the backlog. None of this makes sense. Have a listen.
If you are making such progress, why is the backlog so huge? Why does it take 1 to 3 years to process somebody here in the UK and it takes 6 months in Germany? That's the nub of the problem, isn't it?
It isn't the nub of the problem, but it is an important thing that we have to get right. I say that because there are those, such as the Labour Party, and you heard from Yvette Cooper earlier, saying that just if you process claims quickly, that will fix it. I think that's a naive view. That's what they did when they were last in office, and that just encourages more people to come. But it is right that we make the Home Office as efficient as possible, and the good news is that we're succeeding. We've increased the number of decision makers to 1,800, and we're on course by the 1st of September to increase that to 2,500. That will be...
Wait a minute, I thought reducing the backlog was not the solution. Now you're saying, well, we're actually increasing the number of decision makers to reduce the backlog. Well, the Labour Party said if you reduce the backlog, you'll be able to take people out of these this emergency accommodation like hotels and this barge. And he's saying, no, that's naive. But countries like France and Germany don't have this problem. And as was pointed out here, Germany processes an asylum claim in 6 months, while in Britain it's between 1 and 3 years. So if you have somebody waiting for 3 years, well, you have to house them. They can't move into their own accommodation. They have to have accommodation provided by the state. So if this is the case, then why is it not happening in Germany? Because they're processing the claims. This was not the case when the Labour Party were last in power. In 2002, there were more people claiming asylum than there are today. But you didn't have this issue of putting people on barges or in hotels. Why?
We're almost doubling the size of the organisation. Productivity is rising, and the last 8 weeks of data show record levels of decision making. So I'm very confident that we will make good on the promise that we made in December to clear the legacy backlog by the end of the year, and to put the whole system on a more sustainable footing. But as I say, that is important, but it's not sufficient. You have to abut that good work with a proper strategy to stop people coming in the first place. That's where the Labour Party falls short, because they just don't have that plan, and I'm not sure they even want to stop the boats in that regard. That's why the Rwanda policy matters. That's why making the UK a less attractive destination matters, such as by putting people in rudimentary and decent accommodation, but not luxurious forms of accommodation.
So it's about creating a deterrent, but we know that deterrents don't work. Like at the moment, the deterrent is the baby Stockholm. How many people are on it? About 50. Is that a deterrent? No. But as we know, deterrents, if you listen to organizations that represent asylum seekers and refugees, they say that deterrents don't work. People are determined to come to the United Kingdom. Now, there are two ways you could approach that. You could say, okay, let's welcome them in and provide them with proper accommodation, and let's provide them with an asylum claim processed quickly so that they can move on and rebuild their lives. Or let's not process their claims for years, block them in emergency accommodation, complain about it, and then as we can't move them out of that accommodation, we move new ones into other types of emergency accommodation and claim that it's a deterrent. The deterrent isn't working. Like, how long will it have to take for people to realize that this doesn't work? You know, is Robert Jenrick stupid, or is he once again pretending to be stupid? To say, well, you know, the deterrent will work. Sending people to Rwanda will work, although we're not actually sending anyone to Rwanda. So, you know, his message to the people smugglers is, don't send people here. Obviously, he doesn't give a crap, but he wants the public to believe that his message to the people smugglers is, don't send people here because we're going to send maybe some of them to Rwanda. Actually, we won't now. And we might put some of them on a barge. and we're trying to convince people that the barge is horrible, but it's also suitable. Well, which is it? Because they're talking out of two sides of their mouth. They're trying to say, yes, we're respecting international law, we're putting people in basic accommodation, but at the same time, no, this is a horrible barge to be put on. You can have it both ways. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.